Hey Frank.
Hey, Patsy, how you doing?
Oh, not too bad. Not too
Good.
bad. Uh, Boy, just when we thought today was going to be a boring day, huh?
Yeah, you come back from the ledge a little bit.
No,
No, you're still out there.
still out there.
Well, let me tell you a few things that. Well, just one big thing that just struck me. This is the exact story that Trump was trying to push that essentially got him impeached.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about the MSNBC thing.
Oh yeah,
Uh, oh
for,
yeah, I'm way on. Yeah, I'm there's that's a point of no return.
yeah,
Uh
they're screwed. Look, it's going to discredit them so bad. I mean, just to even try to push that story.
it uh it appears that you're correct. Just kind of following along on some social media and some of my news sources.
And you know what? I'm just so happy that people snuffed it out so quickly. I mean, I thought it might, honestly, today I thought it might linger for a week. I'm wondering now, will it even linger for like more than 3 days? What do you think?
I got home, let's say about 3 o'clock today. Okay, and up until you had sent me the text, the Italy, the 1-1 tie.
Yeah,
Uh, God, if they had anybody that could put the ball in the net.
I mean to tell you, did Immobile not play today?
I really don't know.
I
I
I saw him in the lineup, so maybe that was the issue.
I don't know. I'll ask Nick when he gets home. Um, but from the time I got home, literally until a couple of minutes ago, whenever you and I were kind of going back and forth about when we were going to start, I had CNN on.
Yeah,
Not a word.
no,
Not a word.
yeah,
Not one word about it.
good for
Um,
good for them, really. Honestly,
yeah, really. Uh, I like I said, I don't know what MSNBC is doing. Right now, I'm too pissed off to care.
yeah.
Uh, I'd almost like to get. Yeah, I know people probably aren't gonna start watching it, for another, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. But what what are your thoughts about that? We'll probably have to revisit it here in a few.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I mean,
what are your thoughts about MSNBC doing the whole jumping aboard the Trump train?
I think it's their leadership, the direction from their leadership. Um, it's probably one of those things where at the last minute they're thinking we can create a buzz around this election if we provide him, time and some air on some of these stories. And everybody in the world knows that Fox News is his safe haven. But at times he gets irritated with Fox News, so we can be that kind of quote unquote mainstream media that gives him a little bit of a platform, and let's see how far it gets us. And maybe, there's an old saying in the law: one attorney in a town goes broke, but two get rich. Okay, so you can basically quickly figure out what that's all about, and I would apply it to this too, because if you've got ABC, and CBS and everybody else just telling the one side of the story, which is like you always say, if it's raining outside, it's raining outside. You can't tell me that, well, if it was January, this rain wouldn't be rain, it'd be snow. I mean, I don't give a shit, right?
Right,
I mean,
right.
uh, but NBC wants to tell you the other side of the story, and they want to create that atmosphere where it's the two attorneys in town. One's arguing one side of the case, the other one's arguing the other side of the case. So um, I think it's a hack job. I think it's bullshit. But um, I can see from a business standpoint, but there's too much at stake here. The credibility of their own network is going to suffer because I, quite frankly, will never trust them. I mean, I'm not saying I would never
No,
watch. I'll never trust what they say. And you know how I feel about that. I've been questioning polls, you know, that have legitimacy. Clearly, I mean, there is some legitimacy to these things that I have to attribute. But there's a level of mistrust because of being burned once. Now these people are intentionally doing this where they're giving this guy who's clearly been lying repetitively and is flailing around in his campaign, they're giving him a platform for free. he's run out of money, essentially, right? They're giving him
Right.
a free platform. My memory's too long for this, man. I'm not going to ever trust this company. I'm never going to trust this news source again.
Yeah, how quick they had to hustle and how aggressive they had to be to get this from Fox Entertainment. Because I mean, that's the default. And I'm trying to figure out what could have been going through their minds whenever they were doing this. I mean, did they? ABC has Biden, but ABC didn't go after Biden, right? ABC was going to host the debate.
They had the slot. That was
Yeah,
that
it was theirs. It was theirs. Biden committed. Trump bailed.
right.
So basically, ABC and Biden made a mush out and said, okay, you know what? If you're going to do it, we might as well just air the damn thing anyhow. It'll just be one of you instead of two.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know what NBC's play is here. Did they think they're going to get eyeballs from Fox Entertainment? Because that ain't going to happen. You know, no one's going to stop watching Hannity or Ingram to watch that. And if they do, you know, they're gonna be flipping back and forth, or they're going to wait and until it's over, and then just hear Hannity or Ingram or whoever the hell's going to be on after that. I don't know what Fox's schedule is. To tell them what a savior Trump is.
I mean, I have a little bit of an alternate theory, and I think it's a play that's a risky play on their part, but it's one that might have been worth their while if they're looking at jumping on a ratings opportunity, maybe a once-in-a-lifetime ratings opportunity for them. We've seen what a Trump tweet can do to the stock market. We've seen what a Trump tweet can do to a company. They're probably holding out some reasonable hope that Trump will put out a series of tweets thanking NBC and MSNBC and somehow legitimizing them to his followers, so that a lot of those folks will put their eyeballs on that just for one night. And they'll get a snapshot of that ratings, and they're going to go to their advertisers and say, look what we can do. You know, you should really buy advertising space on our platform, because we can get a lot of eyeballs on we're very creative. We can get eyeballs on our channels. And I think that's, to me, it's a very high risk, high reward play. And I will admit, not everybody's like me. I don't know, and not everybody's like you, Patsy. I don't know that the general population has, you know, I don't know if I've got Sicilian blood in me, but I got Napolitano blood in me, okay? And it's pretty close to the same thing. So there's a vendetta streak, okay? And it's not going to leave me. Like, I'm never going to go back to MSNBC again. I don't give a crap, okay? They can change ownership. They can change figureheads and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to say, you know what? I don't trust you. I don't believe you. You're dead to me. You are dead to me. Okay, so, but not the rest of the world. The rest of the world could be like 2 minutes later, 5 minutes later, they forgot. Okay, and maybe they're banking on that too. They're thinking, can we get this one-time opportunity, and if and when Trump loses and flames out, we don't really get bit too bad, because most of the public's too preoccupied with other things to really hold us accountable for this.
Yeah, you know, that makes a lot of sense. But here's the thing. Yesterday we had talked about your uneasiness with the polls.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It wasn't a week before that Ari Melber was cherry picking polls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's MSNBC.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which doesn't do credit, right? I mean, it's bad. Yeah.
It wasn't doing credit. A week before that, who's like one of their, she doesn't really have a show, but she's on Morning Joe a lot. She's basically a reporter for them. She's not a host, but they're constantly going to her about polling.
Okay.
Terrible with names. It's a good thing no one's watching yet. But they had her out in a parking lot someplace of some supermarket in Trump country, and basically said, "Don't believe the polls. I'm going to talk to people." She talked to 6 people.
Like anecdotal stuff, which we've talked about before. And look, I know, I mean, I know anecdotal stuff is not worth, a whole lot. It's worth something when you're trying to figure out maybe tendencies of people in a very small region. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you and I could maybe go out and talk to 15 people in our community and get a sense of maybe what's going on in our community.
Right.
But even that, you're running the risk of missing the big picture if you haven't really gone across the board to find out the feelings of a lot of different people in different situations. If I go out and say knock on 15 doors in my neighborhood around, where I live, okay, I might not be getting a picture of what's going on in Croton or Mahoningtown or on the east side, and there's just a whole different feel in those neighborhoods than there is in mine,
Right.
and same for yours. So 15 people, 10, 15 people is not going to give us a real good indication. Now, if we said, let's go pick out 15 married women who have been in marriages anywhere from 1 year to 50 years, obviously there are going to be age differences. Obviously, there's going to be some demographic differences of where they live. And you and I each do that with 15 different married women. In our community, we might get an idea. If we spotted some trends, you might be able to say this might be representative because these are all one demographic of person, a married woman in various lengths of marriages, all in Lawrence County,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to single women, as opposed to somebody who's divorced. Those kind of things might make a difference. So, but yeah, just random 6 people in a parking lot. The hell's that going to tell you?
It's going to tell you that you got 6 people in the parking lot. That's literally all it's going to tell you. But you're seeing this trend, right? They had the 6 people in the parking lot, and they specifically target what is considered Trump country.
Right.
And let's be honest, it's not hard to find, right?
No.
They did that one other time a week or two before that. Don't ask me the specifics of it. So that's twice. You had Ari Melber cherry picking polls like he did, right? So now that's 3 times in a matter of, let's say, 3 weeks, less than a month. And now they're doing Trump.
Yeah.
What do I say about coincidences?
Take a lot of planning.
They take a lot of planning, man.
And
You can't tell me all of this just felt like this.
No, it's lining up. It's lining up. And, they want a horse race. We've talked about this before. They want a horse race. If it's, what's worse than calling a game when the score is so out of hand that nobody's interested? You know what the result's going to be, right? You got to fill it with stories about your kids and stories about where you visited in the town. Oh, yeah, we were down eating the strip district this week. We found a great restaurant. That's what the national audience is listening to because the game's out of hand. So that's what they're trying to do, I think, is create that horse race and also create eyeballs on their screen. I agree with you that there's very loyal people who won't necessarily turn away from Fox, but they might just be taking this high risk, high reward type thing where they're hoping that Trump legitimizes them with his base.
I don't know. They're doing it at a risk of losing their base, though. I mean, they're doing it at a risk of losing. And the thing is, they're number 2, right? I could see CNN doing this. I really could, right? Because they're last. They're dead last, right? And you could see them trying to do some sort of publicity stunt or something in order just to get eyeballs on there because you figure, what the hell they got to lose, right? They can't lose, many more viewers because of the 3. They're the one that's being watched the least now anyhow.
Right.
So, I mean, this would make perfect sense if it was them doing this. But even whenever I saw it was NBC that picked them up on it, I wasn't too concerned. And then later in the day, they said that, MSNBC's carrying it too. And I said, why?
Right.
You literally could do anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know. I mean, I think we've done some good stuff on this, and maybe we will retrace our steps a little bit at 5:30 and beyond because I think we've had some good discussion about it, and I want maybe the people to join us get to hear that. in the meantime, right before we hit the 5:30 mark, I did want to tell you, Immobile did start today. He played the whole game, so it's a little surprising he didn't put one in the net. Um, uh, Netherlands did play a very defensive 5-3-2 formation. They had 5 at the back, so they were clearly trying to prevent, giving up more than a goal today, and they accomplished that. They were able to manage a 1-1 tie, which they weren't able to do last time against Italy. So it's up to whether Italy beats Bosnia and Poland in their next go-around. They have 2 more games left to win that grouping, which is not an easy grouping when you look at it. The Netherlands is a very good team. Poland's a very good team with Lewandowski. So hopefully they'll be able to at least win one, tie one. I think they win the group if they do that.
I think the only thing they have going for them is, for whatever reason, Lewandowski can't score a goal whenever he's playing for Poland.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He puts on the Bayern jersey. He can't help but score. He doesn't have to be in the building, and he'll get a brace.
And I think with Zielinski on the field, he's a better player, but Zielinski was out most of this time because he got COVID. So Zielinski comes back soon, and that's going to make a difference for Lewandowski. But historically, you're right. He doesn't score much for Poland.
No, it's so weird. I mean, even Messi scores for Argentina. He just has a poor team,
Absolutely.
I don't know. Italian teams or whatever traditionally don't score a lot of goals, but you got to figure they have more than this.
They do. Mancini has been a much more offensive style coach. Excuse me one second. So Dante just hit me with a good geographic factoid from Dante World. He says he just figured out where all the Trumpers originate from.
Where's that?
Snowflake, Arizona.
There you go. There you go.
So anyway, we were saying about Mancini. Mancini's a much more offensive style manager, and it has paid off for them. Before COVID, he had them flying high on offense, and then ever since then, it seems like we've kind of gone back to that old style of defense first.
Yeah, seems like it. It's the Italian national team. Frank, I've had physics classes that were easier to figure out than what these guys do. It's kind of like trying to figure out who the hell's going to win Florida.
Yeah.
You remember Tom Tillis?
Yeah, I do.
He's losing to Cal Cunningham over in North Carolina. Cunningham kind of got dinged for a little bit of infidelity.
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit yesterday, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And doesn't really seem to matter because as of today's poll, he's still up by 4 points.
I think, when you look at that, now you're looking at this whole thing being baked in, right? I mean, it's not going to be shock anymore. So you're baking in the fact that a guy admitted to an infidelity in the country, or at least in Carolina. They're saying, okay, there's some people here that care about that, and you're going to lose them, and there's other people who don't give a crap, and they just want to see you win, so it's not going to matter.
To me, it does a couple of things, right? It tells you where people are as far as how polarized everything is. But on a bigger scale, it tells you why Trump's really in trouble, because you have a Republican, the party of family values, who gets hit doing all this shit. His poll numbers really don't slide anywhere. But Trump's dumping more money into North Carolina than any Republican in the history of our country ever has, and because there's a good chance he's gonna lose it.
Right.
How can you be on his re-election committee? Because trust me when I tell you, he never thought this one this far through. Looking at the Republican there, who's just screwing up like he's planning on it, and he can't take a hit in the polls. It's almost like the guy's doing shit or got caught and he's trying to lose, and his numbers don't change. And Trump's pulling money out of other states because he's afraid he's going to lose North Carolina. You're on his reelection committee. You got to have an ulcer.
Yep. I mean, there's missing money right now. He's trying to apportion what's left to try to stop the bleeding in some of these states that, I mean, North Carolina has been a battleground state for the last couple of elections. So the likelihood that it wasn't going to be this year was pretty low. But the fact that there's a really good senatorial race going on there makes it very difficult. And he probably has to put more money into it because of that. And then, like you said, he has set the tone around this, what's norms anymore. People don't really care much anymore about these things. He was able to walk into the White House after saying the crazy stuff that he said. So this kind of stuff doesn't shock people's conscience. It's not going to change the calculus. And now he's got to spend more money, like you said. It's a I guess you could say he's made his own bed, so to speak, right?
They squandered basically $1 billion with a B away. And now he's dumping money into there. He's dumping money into Texas. We have Bob last, in our chat on Twitch, who voted yesterday, and he was all excited. He let us know. And at the same time, he's telling you, yeah, it's probably going to stay red. No, obviously he doesn't know the whole state, but he probably knows his state as much as we know Pennsylvania. And he's saying that the Republicans are fighting like hell for a state that is like, air. Voting Republicans like breathing there. I question whenever you look at that, and to a large part when you look at Carolina and you're starting to see the money that he's throwing in there. Is it him because he's so toxic, or is it that the demographic in those couple of states is starting to change even more quickly than maybe we thought they would? Because as the demographic change, it's basically going Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, look at the Atlantic seaboard, and you see Maryland is a very Democratic state. You're going to have national elections go for the Democrats in Maryland. Virginia is now starting to turn reliably blue. Next state south from there, North Carolina. And a lot of folks who have spun out from Maryland, D.C., spun out from Pennsylvania to go live on the Atlantic coast, they live in North Carolina. North Carolina is an attractive state to live in. And it's a lot of people that go to the University Triangle, the Research Triangle there in Raleigh-Durham area, Duke, North Carolina, etc. Look, a lot of educated folks, a lot of people that believe in science. North Carolina produces a lot of thought leaders for the Mid-Atlantic region. So more educated folks are going to be pretty much voting blue. So you see the trend. You can see the trend moving that way.
It boggles my mind that it happened this quick, though.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to happen this soon. I figured we had, if you want to put a metric on it, we had a couple more election cycles to go before you were starting to see this kind of impact.
Well, you've been calling Texas for a while, and that's the one that really surprises me because Texas is right in the middle of all these other Republican states, and it's been such a Republican stronghold for so long that to see the quick turnaround there, that's the one that shocks me. But you've been calling that one for a little while now.
Yeah, I've just been keeping an eye on it. It's one of those things, Frank. You just follow the money.
Yeah.
Right. And in the midterms, whenever Beto just raised so much money. I mean, just stupid amounts of money. You had to figure that was going to carry over. And I'll tell you something else, Frank. That was the one thing, and I I posted up on our Discord channel over the weekend. I can't believe how many people to this day are discounting everything that happened in 2018.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, there is a historic factor there in terms of like you've talked about before, and there is that historic swing sometimes in the first term of a president's election is to take some of the power away from that party. But it was such a big swing towards the Democrat side that it was very historic. It was like it was a blue wave, and it can't be discounted. It's discounted at people's peril, really. You know,
And it was even like some of the older established Democrats were thrown aside.
yeah.
Right? I mean, AOC rose to power beating an incumbent Democrat.
She beat a long time incumbent Democrat, somebody who had basically a stronghold in his district, a man. So she upended a lot of things. Much respect to her for her ability to do that. Representative Ocasio-Cortez is a force to be reckoned with, and I really like it. But it is
too.
a warning shot to everybody out there that people do not want. They want people to go there to lead change, to lead efforts to make things better, not to just keep status quo, and not to just be, And I think that's one of those things that look, it could affect Mitch McConnell. People in Kentucky have been reticent to change, but in Kentucky, things have not been good. They're 48th in so many different rankings. They're 45th or worse in just about every ranking as far as education, jobs, et cetera, the things that you want for a state. And you've got literally the most powerful senator from your home state, and it hasn't improved your state's standing. I think that should be a big warning for them.
Yeah, I'll go one better, Frank. I think he's the most powerful person in the country.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I really do.
Yeah,
and I say that not only because of what he's done and how he sets the tone, but the fact that we've said for the last couple of years, Pelosi is going after the Senate. She's not going after the White House.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why would you go to basically the other side of your room, right? It's because she knows that's where the power is. Well, why else would you go for that and not the White House? Because that's where it is. And he's the representative of a state that is basically the biggest welfare queen on the planet.
Yep,
it really is. It's a money pit. The entire state is a money pit.
yeah. It is.
Here's one for you, Frank. Going back to what we said earlier, I'm gonna share this with everybody because I was a bit surprised. I don't know how people feel about Newsweek, but you guys better start paying attention to it because they do some really good stuff. Let me move our graphic.
Here we go.
Look at this.
Here we
Isn't
go.
isn't this something? We were just talking about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for the pop-up, folks, but that's how it is. Calls to boycott NBC. Members of the media and activist community have taken to social media to voice their dismay at NBC News hosting a town hall for Donald Trump. The same time slot as Biden will be basically be on NBC. I think one of the two of us said something about boycotting them and who advertises on them. Wasn't that you that said that? In our Discord, you're like, no, man, you got to hit them where it hurts.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get the advertising. Find out who's doing their advertising, and say we're going to boycott them because boy, I'll tell you that'll make a big difference. But both of them, because if you boycott watching NBC, then that means the advertisers see that and say nobody's eyeballs are on your show.
An American activist, DeRay McKesson, this is a great line. The NBC Trump town hall makes complete sense when we remember how much the media benefits from Trump's antics and his ability to control the narrative over and over. The media remains complicit.
Absolutely. D-Ray.
Go on, I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying absolutely, D-Ray. He's absolutely spot on.
Some journalists found similarities between 2020 and 2016. They're talking about the email thing that I really don't want to get into. Another media professional, ex-Adweek editor Josh Sternberg, logging onto Twitter and seeing that NBC News is irresponsibly hosting a Trump town hall, and the New York Post is pushing out a story about a candidate's emails, and suddenly I'm back to 2016. Shit, I wish I didn't read the rest of this story, Frank, because I just told you I was off the ledge.
Well, let me say that the reason we're not covering that in today's show is not because we could sit here and we could laugh about it. We could absolutely tear this thing apart. But the thing is, why give it any air? It's garbage. It's ridiculous. There's many more issues. That story's going to be gone very shortly. It's going to have no legs whatsoever. So we're not going to give it any air on this show. And we may laugh about it, after the election and look back and say, how pathetic the effort was. But anyway, the bigger picture at hand right now is why is NBC and MSNBC giving time to Donald Trump when he had an opportunity to debate, pulled the plug on the debate, was irresponsible, got COVID, then wouldn't live with the consequences of that by having a virtual debate. And now NBC's bailing them out. They're bailing them out by giving them free airtime. We talked a little bit when we started the show early, why do you think this is? We gave our opinions, but let's just rehash those briefly at this point. Why do you think they're doing that?
My side, my argument, whatever, however you want to call it. I'll put my toe in your world. Say my argument is, they're looking to make a race out of they're trying to make a game out of a one-sided beatdown is what they're trying to do, right? And they were very reckless back in 2016 when they did the same shit. And what's one of the things we didn't talk about, Frank, I'm going to go off on a little bit of tangent here, but I promise I'll come right back. We had talked about how you had the Jill Stein and the Comey presser and everything else that was that kind of took the wind out of Hillary sails back in 2016. But let's not underestimate or underplay the complicity of the media, who was allowing Trump to just phone things in, who was basically taking him at his word, not fact-checking a thing that they did. I mean, he could have gone on Morning Joe 2 or 3 times a week. I swear to God he was on there 2 or 3 times a week. That's when I quit watching it. And I swear he could have just started belching and they would have been just hanging on every noise he made.
Yeah.
So my argument is they're doing the same shit again. They want to race.
They want to race. They like their ratings. They like the fact that he gives ratings and eyeballs to TV generally, because when he's on the national scene, people are anxious and want to know what's being said. I'll just recap what my take was on it. I think that MSNBC and NBC, for that matter, are taking a high-risk, high-reward gamble and saying maybe the Twitter-in-chief will tweet out, "Thank you to NBC and MSNBC for carrying my town hall." One of the best national networks on network TV. They're engaged for. They're going to hope for the opportunity to seize upon Trump's base for one night, and the risk is, well, they may lose people like you and me. They're definitely going to lose me. I mean, I'm telling you right now, I've got a vindictive streak about stuff like this, and vendetta is a part of my blood. So it's not going to come back for them, for me. And they may not care about me. That's fine. They may be banking on the idea that everybody else is too frazzled. Like we've talked about before, they've got so many things going on in their life. They're not going to ever think back about this maybe 2 weeks from now and say, I'm really upset with NBC and MSNBC for doing this. But for me, they can't do anything. It's short of providing food and shelter for poor and homeless people for the next 20 years, maybe. And then I might forgive them. But otherwise, I don't see any reason why to flip the channel onto their shows anymore.
You might forgive them, but you're not going to forget it, and they do some shit again. It's just going to hit them again, right?
Exactly.
Here's the thought, and honest to God, Frank, it just popped into my mind while you were talking. This is a huge what if. Okay, so I mean, this is a fucking huge what if. But what if during this town hall, I believe Savannah Guthrie's hosting it, right? She's the moderator. What if she fact checks him in real time, constantly, and saying, no, that's not correct. No, that's not right. No, you're lying. And does that for the entire hour and a half, or whatever the hell it is. And no, honest to God, the chances of that happening are, a little bit better than, me hitting the lottery this week. But you can't hit if you don't play. Right. So what do you, so what, are they forgiven then?
It just depends, I guess. I don't know that Trump does well with kind of like devil's advocate. But when they're actually fact checking him and calling him out on things, he doesn't do well with that. Mm-mm. So if that's the plan, and knowing that he's going to go into this thing and probably lie just because he's got nobody else,
flat out lie, yeah.
If that's the plan, and they know that that's going to happen, and they can have a field day with his lies, so to speak, maybe that's a strategy. I don't know, but it seems to me it also takes away from the opportunity that Biden. Like, how many times does Biden get uninterrupted airtime? The media is always carrying some story about Trump. Always has Trump on TV, free airtime all the time.
Right.
Time. They do it at a different time. Like, we'll give you your time, Mr. President, but we're not going to take away from Mr. Biden's time and run it at the same time as his show's going on. Then I could see that, but right now it still feels extremely scummy and skeevy to me, the way they're doing it.
Yeah, that's a very good definition. It's very skeevy. Yeah. Actually, let's be honest. Savannah Guthrie's not going to go toe to toe with anybody.
No.
Right? I mean, you have all of this good female on air talent. Why would you not use, Mata? Why would you not use what's her name at 4:00? Nicole Wallace. Why don't you use Joy Reid? Really get under her skin. You put a black woman there. Yeah. I mean, you had opportunities to Maddow has the highest rated show at 9:00. She beats Fox Entertainment. Why the hell is she not doing this?
Right.
Instead you're going to get somebody from the Today Show.
It's generally a fluff kind of show. Generally.
Yeah. So he's just going to be able to steamroll over anybody he wants. I don't know. It's going to be a shit show. It is. It's going to be a shit show. I do hope that they do something like that, and they don't fact check after the point, because fact checking after the fact doesn't really do anything. It's already out there.
Yeah. Checking the moment is really what's most effective, and it'll throw him off his ability to kind of just go ramble on.
Even if they put a graphic up on the screen.
Yeah.
Right. So there's not even any interaction there. He's just talking, and then they're just fact checking him right on the screen. They won't. They're not going to do that. And I agree with you. The fact that they're putting this on at the same time that the Biden one is, that's lousy too. They should have had him go first. So you're the president. You go first. You got at 8:00. Biden's on at 9:00. Right? Or you're at 9:00. Biden's on at 10:00. That's fine. Right? Because even at 10:00, what difference does it make? Well, everybody's still going to watch it.
Yeah.
Another question for you, since we're on the same subject. What's Trump going to do if Biden's viewership numbers are just kick the shit out of his?
He'll really be upset. I mean, he'll take it out in some way on NBC. He'll blame them. You know, he'll about some stupid ass comment that he'll make. But first of all, here he'll do too. He'll try to lie and say that his ratings were better no matter what. But then when he gets called on it, and he can't help himself, because when he sees that the numbers are the way they are, he's going to be pissed and he'll blame NBC. That's his thing, right? He blames. He loves to be a blamer. He loves to be the victim.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't forget, he's going to be on two networks.
Yeah.
NBC and MSNBC, where Biden's just going to be on ABC.
Right.
Right? So, if his ratings tank, oh my God, his orange head's going to explode.
Yeah.
Did they say where this is? Oh, it's in Philly. Oh no, Biden's doing it at Philly. His is in Miami. Okay, so there he goes. He gets to lie to all the Latinos. And he's lying like a fucking rug right now.
Absolutely.
To those folks, and they're torn who to vote for. You have a community that's kind of torn because he's lying to them, and they're spreading so much, false messaging, and to the point where legal action is going to be taken. You got a bunch of people there, and let's face it. How many people do you think? How many Latinos do you think living in Miami? Or they're on a green card, or they're for work, or something like they're here legally, but they're not citizens. There's got to be a fuck ton of them.
Yeah, yeah.
So they're scared.
But and he knows that he needs to gain. It's the one area in the minority group that he can possibly gain some numbers in, because Latino people are, just to be somewhat stereotypical, are definitely concerned with religion and concerned with abortion and things like that, because there are a lot, as far as population goes, they have a large population in the Catholic faith, and he knows he can probably tap into that vein, so to speak. So it's an issue. He's been thrown out there. Look, I'm great for the Puerto Rican people. And he knows that Puerto Rican people in Puerto Rico don't have, I would hope that he knows, probably doesn't because of who he is, that Puerto Rican people don't really have a presidential vote if they're on the island of Puerto Rico. But if they've emigrated, not emigrated, but if they've relocated is the better word, is the more appropriate word. If they've relocated to the mainland states, but they were born in Puerto Rico or have, Puerto Rican grandparents, he wants to pander to that. So, it's bullshit, but he threw a bunch of money at them about a month ago to try to repair his image with them. So it's a way for him to try to tap into that vein, so to speak. I want to throw one more thing back at you, Patsy, about NBC. And I'm surprised neither of us brought this up before. It just hit me, and I know we're going to laugh about this later. What network was The Apprentice on?
NBC.
Bingo.
It was on NBC. You're right. It was. Yeah.
So he's always been a cash cow for them.
Yeah. You know what? Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Why didn't we think of it earlier?
Because we overthink things, maybe. I don't know. You're right.
Always follow the money, like you said. Always
follow the money. Unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. He's got to be in with somebody there, right?
Oh, absolutely.
He's got to have the in with some. Was it Lou that was saying that whoever's running their, I don't know if they're running the network or the news department, they're very right leaning. Yeah,
the guy that's their I guess their chief operating officer or their CEO is a conservative. He leans towards the conservative side, and he had been trying to pull their news in that direction, and MSNBC lineup was always kind of pulling towards that conservative speak. But as you said on our Discord channel, Nicole Wallace and Madoff threw a monkey wrench into that because they were just so darn good at their jobs. They're so darn good at their jobs that he couldn't move them out of those time slots.
Yeah, and yet nothing, right? Like I said, this whole thing stinks. It does. This whole thing stinks. But there may be a silver lining in the whole thing. He may lose his mind when the ratings come in. He may just absolutely bomb what he's doing. He may be fact checked in real time. There may be a lot of things going on. Now, that doesn't by any means forgive or change my feeling, my attitude toward NBC. Not by any means. But there might be something to it. We might be able to look at this whole thing and say, "What the fuck, for real?" Of course. I made a comment. One more thing before you go. It's gonna be real quick. I just want your 2 cents, real quick.
No worries, buddy. I'm here with you.
I had asked somebody down at the gym. I forgot what it was, but they were saying they were talking Trump up during the whole thing, and I looked at him and I say, "Why does everything he touches go straight into the sewer?" And everybody just kind of looked at me, and I said, "I'm not taking sides. I'm just asking you, why does everything he touched go straight into the sewer?"
What did he say?
That was basically it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I want to play a word association game with us sometime, where, and I'd love to have people from the Republican side, the Trumper side, because Republicans aren't necessarily Trumpers, but Trumpers are Trumpers. They are what they are. But I'd love to have them on sometime and set up, I'd love to sit down with you and Lisa sometime and just set up a word association game where we put choices of words, and you have to pick from those words once you hear the one word that we say. And, to me, I was just driving along thinking today, when you say the word Trump, I mean, we could put a few words down, and some of them could be good and some of them could be bad. I guess just no word is good or bad, but I mean, the imagery that comes from that word. We can say words that have good imagery to them and words that have bad imagery. But when you say the word Trump, just even without a choice of words, if I just say the word Trump to you, what's some of the words that come to your mind?
Oh, yeah. Garbage.
Yeah.
Asshole, bully, I can go on down the line. Yeah, none of them are positive. I'll put it out. Yeah.
Even
Right.
Trumpers, this is the thing. Like, one of my longtime friends who's a Trumper, and it's affected our friendship. I have to say, it has affected our friendship. But he'll say to me, "Yeah, man, he's an asshole. Like, he is an asshole." Without unabashedly, it's like he's not ashamed to say that. He's like, he's an asshole. But I vote for him because I want to protect the unborn. And I'm like, dude, protect everything, the born and the unborn. They don't give a crap about somebody who's just born, hasn't committed any sin but original sin. They're just born, and they'll throw them away. They don't give a crap. So he doesn't want to hear it. But the point of my story is, he has no compunction whatsoever about calling his candidate an asshole, and truly meaning the meaning of the word asshole when he says it.
Oh, I know. I get the same thing. I like his policies.
Yeah.
That's what I get, right? I'm like, but I don't even ask what policies. I just said, nah, you just like him because he allows you to hate the same people he does.
Yeah.
That's all. The filter's gone, Frank. It died a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, one of my 2 roommates here in Baltimore, he liked the one, and I can't take total credit for the terminology, but I co-opted it a while ago. I said a lot of the things that Trump espouses or validates aren't always directly racist, but they're racist adjacent. And he loved that. He's I love that terminology, racist adjacent.
Racist adjacent. That's a good one. Well, Frank, we have a law, and it is a law. It's not even a rule of thumb it's a law in the martial arts world. Though, whenever you learn a technique, okay, that you never learned before, you have to give credit to the person who taught it to you for 6 weeks, and then you can claim it as your own.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
Yeah. This is the first time that I've said that on this show. I'm gonna give him his credit. He's a good friend of mine, an attorney down in Beaver County. He's with the Public Defender's Office in Beaver County. His name's Sean. And before I give his last name on the air, I'll get permission from him. But next time we get on the show, if I get permission from him to give his last name, I will. But Sean, my good friend, Public Defender's Office in Beaver County, was the one that gave me that terminology.
So there you go, right? So you only have to be, well, you know what? Depending on what he told you, you might be, the limitation may have run out.
I'm past the statute, my man.
I see. Well, you're good then. It's yours. It is. It's yours. Speaking of which, Master Grant's supposed to be jumping on. I know you have an engagement. You can don't feel like you have to hang on. I can ramble for a couple of minutes until he gets on. It's up to you.
You can carry the show. I am going to get going. I'm going to take my son to a dinner meeting that we had set up, and but I appreciate the opportunity to talk again as we did today. This has really been a lively week, and I just got to feel like it's only going to get better, really, until we get to November 3rd.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. I don't see this slowing down at all. And the worse the poll numbers get for Trump, worse it's going to be.
I mean, desperate times for him is going to call for desperate measures. We know that.
Oh, hell yeah, he don't want to go to jail.
Nope.
No one does.
I will see you all tomorrow, and Patsy, thank you. We'll talk some soccer in the meantime when we get a chance to watch some soccer over the weekend. And
oh yeah, don't forget but Saturday 7:00 the Merseyside Derby.
That's something to look forward to.
Saturday morning. Yeah, I got to be out of the gym by then.
We got to talk about this whole thing that got scuppered. What was it called? The big picture, or what was it? The big picture. What the hell was it called?
Oh geez, it was the yes, I am looking for it as we go.
Maybe you set up and talk about it.
Oh, it's killing me, Frank. It's killing me. The big forget it.
We'll hit it. We'll hit it at some point because it deals with
big picture. Project Big Picture.
Project Big Picture. Yeah.
That was it. Project Big Picture.
Something that seemed a little ill-conceived from the outset, but it's definitely been scuppered at this point. But let's get into that at some point. We'll talk about that when we get a slow day, maybe after November 3rd. Who knows?
God, we hope. All right, Frank. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.
Take care.
All right, we'll see you. Well, folks, while I'm waiting for Master Grant to jump on, one thing I did want to share with you that I thought was absolutely hysterical. You know, normally we save the funny stuff for the end of the the show, especially whenever we have Lou on. But there's one thing I wanted to share with you guys a little bit, because I mean, it's not really a funny thing. It's just, yeah, it is. It's comical. I don't know if anybody caught wind of this or not, but the mayor of Alaska's largest city submitted his resignation on Tuesday evening, 4 days after an anchor woman at a local television station threatened to report that he posted nude photos of himself on a website. The mayor, Ethan Berkowitz, adamantly denied her allegations. However, he still resigned. The saga that had been a buzz of anchorage started when Maria Athens, that's her, she's the anchor, posted on her Facebook page, and we're going to see if we can't see that real quick, because this is This is absolutely hysterical. Um, she actually would put it up on her Facebook feed here. Let me see if I can't grab this one for you. Um, yep, yeah, here we go. There you go. Absolutely hysterical, right? Absolutely hysterical. Now, I don't know how the hell he got that picture like that, because that's one hell of an angle to get with your iPhone. You know, that's a tough one to get with your iPhone. But well, there's a way, I guess, because he managed to do it. Absolutely hysterical. The guy ends up resigning after it. I I guess my bigger question is how did she find out about this? I mean, how does she know about this? That's a picture that's kind of hard. I mean, you're not gonna Google that, you know. How the hell did that even come about? That she was able to. There you go. How about that, huh? Yeah, I have no idea how the hell that even happened, but God love her, she was able to get it. My guess is, yeah, she knew about it. I I love whenever these guys get called out for this shit, though, right? I do. I love whenever they get called out for this shit. Um, at what point do you sit there and I I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But whatever. In other news, and something that I found to be incredibly interesting. Uh, we have the Amy Coney Barrett hearings going on right now, right? And the Democrats are raising a shit ton of money off of it. Okay, they're raising a ton from CNBC, right? Democrats have raked in at least $35 million in donation during the 3 days of Amy Coney Barrett's Supreme Court confirmation hearings before the Senate Judiciary Committee. The donations were processed through ActBlue, a Democratic fundraising website, so they jumped on it and started probably sending out emails and texts and phone calls. And on Monday, which included Barrett's opening statement and remarks by lawmakers on the committee, ActBlue processed nearly $6 million in contributions. That was just on Monday, whenever the opening things were going on. That they included an opening statement by Kamala Harris. Just a quick question for everybody. Do you think that places like this, right, this ActBlue, and whatever the case may be, whether it's ActBlue or somebody else, obviously they look forward to this, right? They jump on any situation to make money, any situation to fundraise. But I often wonder just how much it matters. I often wonder how much any of these PACs, any of these fundraising things, whatever the hell they're called. I wonder how much it actually matters. I mean, it's nice that they drew 35 million. I mean, that says a lot about what's going on. It says a lot about what these folks, what people are thinking, what people are feeling. So there is a correlation between which way people are thinking, which way they're headed with the money that's being raised. But at the end of the day, I wonder how much it really matters. 35 million seems like a lot of money, but you're starting to see Biden's campaign right now starting to shift, and you're seeing some of the down ballot campaigns who were really looking good. You're starting to see them shift money to other campaigns that aren't doing so well, that need money. McSally's or not McSally. What's her name in Kentucky? That's going against Mitch McConnell is a good example, right? So they're looking to they're looking to grab money, and they're looking to push the money their way because these campaigns are hurting. But at the end of the day, I guess my question is: do you think it really matters? Do you think that people giving this money that are doing this? Do you think it really matters? You had, a couple of years ago, you had the ACA that was going to be overturned, and it was the famous thumbs down, right? The McCain, thumbs down. And you had demonstrators, you had protesters, you had people going into folks' offices and boycotting and protesting and doing all these different things. But at the end of the day, these guys still voted the way they were going to vote. They still did whatever the hell they were going to do, and it took one man to step up and say, no, we're not going to do this. We're not going to play this game. And I promise you, both the Democrats and the Republicans were fundraising like a champ off of these things, right? So if you're going to sit there and say that the money reflects people's ideals or people's beliefs or people's moral standard, God bless, but I don't think it really matters. I don't think that the people are where this money's going or who they're fighting. I don't think they really care. Because let's face it, this Amy Coney Barrett nomination, it's going through, right? It's going to. Democrats aren't going to stop it. They can bitch and moan and complain and put up all kinds of red flags and scream from the highest mountaintop, but you take a picture of her, find a picture of her now in the Senate chambers, go ahead, and you're looking at your next Supreme Court justice. It's a done deal. There's nothing that the Democrats can do to stop it. Absolutely nothing. They're going to need a couple Republicans to break ranks, and let's be honest, folks. Republicans don't break ranks, right? They don't. They're good little soldiers. So anyhow, that's that. Apparently, I don't think I'm going to get Master Grant on, so we're probably going to call it a day. I'd like to thank everybody who was watching. I'd like to thank everybody who was putting messages up, talking to us in Twitch and Periscope and every place that we're being that people are following us. We really do appreciate it. We really do. It's nice to see that people are paying attention to us. So on that note, we will be back tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. And until then, goodbye, good luck, and God bless. We'll see everybody tomorrow.